You think it was on the record?
It wasn't? Oh, good.
I'm not on.
Oh, good.
Let me do one quick thing up there. Yeah, so I think I was around.
Board, all rise. Forum 806 is now open. The Honorable Judge Frank Casiano presiding. Please be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before the court is a matter of the Commonwealth versus Edwin Alemany, indictment 2013-11163. The defendant is present with counsel Michelle Hubbard, Jeffrey Denner, and Joseph Keller. The Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorneys John Pappas and Zachary Hillman. The matter is scheduled today for hearing regarding sentence imposition.
Counsel, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor.
Pappas,
Commonwealth moves for sentencing, Your Honor.
I'll hear you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to call out Kaylee Ballantyne to allocute before the court.
Yes.
Ms. Ballantyne?
Why don't you stand?
Thanks.
Good morning, Ms. Valentine.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I wrote something. I don't think I'm going to be able to read it. I'm going to look at it. So everyone knows I went to Bryant University. I played field hockey there, and it was starting my senior year, the summer that I got stabbed. My lung collapsed. I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk again. This is so hard. Something that someone shouldn't ever have to do and come up here and speak. But I won, and he didn't win. And can't. I got 2 tattoos after this incident happened. One on my forearm, around my stab wound, the biggest stab wound that I have, that says strength and an infinity sign and my Nana's name and a heart. I look at this every morning when I wake up. I can't not look at it. It's here on my arm. It's always going to be here. And this reminds me when I look at it that I have strength and I'm strong and I'm stronger than my attacker. And I will be stronger than anyone that ever tries to put me down, ever. And everyone out there can do that too. Remember that. Every single time something happens, you're stronger than you think you are. And I also have another tattoo on my left hip. That's a cross, and that's a wing, just like this. And I didn't get this until yesterday from Cindy Lord, and I had no idea that this was, Amy had this around her neck, and now I have one too because I carry her on my shoulder everywhere I go. Everything that I do for the rest of my life, she's going to be with me every step of the way. And the tattoo on my left hip, my best friend Hannah has with me as well on her hip, and I'm her angel whether I'm here or not, and Amy's my angel, and she's going to be for the rest of my life. She's my guardian angel, and she helped me fight and do what I did, and I'm still here today because she wanted me to be here today. And I speak not only for myself and what's coming out of my heart right now, but I speak for her too. And I wish every day that when I wake up in the morning, she's going to walk with me to work. She's going to go with me to work. She's going to come nanny with me. She sees the kids that I nanny every day. And I know she loves them as much as I do. And this impact statement, it's impacted my life. I mean, everyone out there can see how it's impacted my life, but it hasn't ruined my life. I'm strong. I get up here. I do what I need to do. I didn't want to be here. This isn't where we all don't want to be sitting in this room, but we have to. We have to. We have to come here. And it stinks. It sucks. But we're here and we're through it and it's over. And I can't wait to move on with our lives. Me, the Lord family, my family, the jurors that put in so much work every day. And we can move on. It's over. It's never going to be gone from every day when we wake up. I think about Amy every day. I think about what happened to me every day. But I think about it in a positive way. Like this defines me of who I am now. And I'm not even going to read this because there's no point of reading it. I'm speaking at this point from my heart. And I just want everyone to know that Amy is going to be with me for the rest of my life. And I made new bonds with the Lord family, and they're unreal. And I love them. My family loves them. We're going to be bonded forever. And we can be happy because good things are going to come. And he's going to be put away forever. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Kimberly Lord, Your Honor, and with the court's permission, may she be accompanied by our victim witness advocate, Catherine Moran. Lord.
We used to joke that Amy was the shortest girl born on the shortest day of the year, December 21st. However, we never knew how short her life would also be. But the amount of life she was able to pack into those 24 short years is something that will never be forgotten. One of the last memories I have with my sister was spending a week at Cape Cod a little over a week before she was taken from us. The two of us decided to go down to the water, and I joked that swimming with her was like being with a little kid because Amy didn't know how to swim, so I had to constantly be with her. A little kid is actually one of the best ways I can think of to describe my sister. She was up for anything and came up with what, at the time, seemed like the stupidest ideas of things to do, but looking back were probably some of the best experiences you had. She had this little giggle about her that could also be described as childlike. Most of the time you knew this giggle meant she was up to something, but you couldn't help laughing along with her. I can remember many times I went out of my way to remember things I thought Amy might find funny, because getting her to giggle like that was one of my favorite things. While she may have been a little kid at heart, Amy also managed to be the epitome of the big sister every girl wishes for, and I was lucky enough to have. As far back as I can remember, I wanted to do everything just like Amy, something I'm sure she got sick of more than once. Not only was Amy the athletic, outgoing cheerleader who was friends with everybody, she was also the perfect scholar. She always received A's and B's, seemingly without even trying, and was the treasurer of our high school student council. Walking into class and having a teacher say, "Oh, you're Amy Lord's sister," was something I took great pride in. Basically, Amy was the girl everyone wanted to be, and the one I was lucky enough to call my big sister, a job she took very seriously. Amy was the one person I knew I could go to with any problem, and she would support me and defend me without question. I felt safe with her around because while she was one of the sweetest people I knew, she could also be one of the toughest when someone hurt a person she cared about. All sisters share a special bond, but I believe the bond between Amy, Carly, and myself was and always will be something truly special. There was never a moment when I doubted having my sister's full support and love. I remember visiting Amy's apartment and just sitting watching Bravo marathons on the TV, and it was one of the best afternoons I can recall simply because I was spending it with my sisters. This great bond the three of us shared is just one of the things that was forever altered when Amy was unfairly taken from us. I spent my life being one member in a family of 5. We are all so different, but when we come together, it just seems to click. I can't count the number of memories I have of family dinners, vacations, holidays, etc. that we used to share, but that's all they are now, memories. While my parents, my sister, and I are still a family, we will never be the same without Amy. Losing her has left us forever altered. There are still the holidays, dinners, and vacations, but now they are overshadowed by the thoughts left unsaid because we are afraid to bring everyone down by bringing up Amy's name, or the guilt that comes over you when you find yourself getting lost in the moment and having a good time, only to be brought back down by the fact that Amy's not there to enjoy it. The memories we have are also just a reminder of the memories we will not be able to make with vacations and holidays with our own families. When Amy was taken, so was my sense of safety and my trust in others. All she wanted to do that morning when stepping out of her apartment was head to the gym before starting her day at work. I was raised in a world where this was a simple chore, not something you thought you were risking your life doing. On July 23rd, I felt like I was living in a dream because I couldn't wrap my head around the tragedy and unfairness that was taking place around me. Amy was picked off the street for no reason other than she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Without knowing anything about the amazing person she was or the light she brought into so many people's lives, someone chose to just take that light and put it out. Now I find myself constantly looking over my shoulder everywhere I go, a small part of me always wondering if someone's going to attack me too. She was very happy working at Genuine and loved her company and coworkers. However, recently she had begun thinking about a new career. Amy had begun talking about becoming a math teacher, which is something I believe she would have been great at. One of the worst parts about losing her is all the unknowns, whether she would have become a teacher, what a great mother she could have been, all the laughs we could have shared, but most importantly, all the life she hadn't yet had a chance to bring her special sparkle into. While I will spend the rest of my years the way I feel Amy would want me to, it will always be bittersweet knowing she will never be able to tell me what I want to hear most, that she is proud of me.
Mariel Peralt.
am Marielle. I'm one of Amy's lifelong friends. This is Allie. When our good friend Christopher James Burnham passed away, which you've heard about, the sticker on the car, I remember being in a car with Amy and our 3 other best friends, Allie, Bree, and Gina. We felt a sorrow for his family and couldn't conceive of what his very best friends were feeling. I had said to the girls, if that were any one of you, I'd lose my mind and a piece of my soul. We all agreed. And now, what was inconceivable has happened. A life without Amy. Amy was always the sparkling light amongst us all. She was the one who brought the 5 of us together. She felt and lived every moment of her day in a deep, passionate way, unlike any other person I have encountered. In turn, we always took care of Amy, and only wish we could take care of her now. Our hopes is that she is truly in a peaceful place, which some may call heaven. But heaven to us will always be the 5 of us, being together with no purpose in mind other than enjoying the pure simplicity of us being this one whole, hilarious, soulfully fulfilling, and yet beautifully faulted being. No matter the time that passes, we will miss Amy every day. Every important moment of our lives, like getting married or having our first child, or seeing Amy get married and having her first child. Every simple moment like a trip up to Hampton Beach, and every place in between. No matter the time that passes, we will always keep her with us wherever we go.
Kristen Dussel.
Justice Spaziano and members of the court, my name is Kristen Dussel, and I'm a close family friend of the Lord family. Our families are so close, in fact, so intertwined, that Amy was like a cousin to me. I refer to Dennis and Cindy Lord as uncle and aunt, and my parents were Amy's godparents. The Lords are our family, and it is on behalf of my parents, my siblings, and extended family that I ask the court to impose the penalties requested by the Commonwealth. The last time I saw Amy was at the beach on Cape Cod, where our families rented a large cottage for a week. We sat on the beach together, we rode in her Jeep with the windows open, and we drank wine at night. I will cherish those memories with Amy forever, not only because they are my last memories of her, but because at that time she was at her happiest. She was glowing, and she was in love. Amy made other people feel good about themselves. She was gentle, caring, funny, smart, and loved by everyone who knew her. Growing up, our families would gather on Friday nights, and Amy, myself, and our sisters would play. We loved playing Barbies, the Uno card game, and long walks with the dogs to the development behind their house, which we called Pride Rock, because it reminded us of the Lion King. Amy was timid, but always wanted to be a part of the action. She loved animals, and we often had to turn off movies if an animal character was harmed because it was too upsetting for Amy. She got nervous when it was her turn to bat during CYO softball games, and she got excited about dancing. Amy's ability to empathize made it easy to be around her, even for my little brother who has some special needs. My Uncle Dennis and Auntie Cindy raised Amy and her sisters to be good to others, to work hard, to follow the rules, and to conduct themselves with integrity. These values were emphasized in every situation. As we grew older, Uncle Dennis reminded us all to practice class and respect before going out for the night. He'd ask us to repeat that mantra right back to him before we were even allowed to leave. Amy was taught to embrace the world, that people were inherently good and to go out and make the world a better place. So it is a cruel twist of fate that Amy was chosen by the antithesis of herself on July 23, 2013. I have vivid memories of that day as well. Neither I nor Amy's family and friends, nor Amy herself, could have imagined the horror that she would be forced to endure at the hands of this selfish, cowardly, evil man. At the time, I myself was an assistant district attorney in Middlesex County, and I sat in a crowded courtroom wondering how Amy could have gone missing because it was so unlike her. I remember my panicked attempts to reach out to colleagues to spread the word that Amy was missing, with the hope that the efforts would bring her back. I remember not believing that it could be real. I still can't believe that it's real. I remember sitting in my office preparing a matter for trial when I heard that her car had been burned. And later, I remember the moment when I learned that Amy had been found, that her body was found in the Stony Brook Reservation. That night, my sister and I slept in my bed in my Somerville apartment. Fear, sadness, and disbelief kept me awake, while my sister cried herself to sleep. The next morning, we drove home to Western Massachusetts to be with the Lords, to be together as a family. Justice has been served. The only possible just verdict has been reached. The community agrees that Edwin Alemany is guilty, and what he did to Amy and all the victims was horrific and wrong. It has been important to me to bear witness to the proceedings, to watch the legal process that I'm a part of take its course. Reliving that horrible day through the trial testimony and evidence has been heartbreaking, and at times it seems as if my professional life and my personal life have collided. Having to explain terms such as criminal responsibility, intent, buccal swabs, photo arrays, and voluntary statements to people that I love has been one of the most significant challenges I have faced. Repeatedly reminding myself that this is not just a case I'm handling, that the victim is Amy, my aim, is a struggle that I could never have prepared myself or my family for. Guiding my family through the legal portions of this process has been overwhelming, but it's something I do gladly and with a sense of necessity, because it is the last thing I personally can do for Amy. Edwin Alemany has been convicted. The truth has been declared, but it won't bring Amy back. It's that truth that Uncle Dennis and Auntie Cindy and all of my family, Amy's family and friends will have to live with forever. We will never be the same. Because of Edwin Alemany, nothing will ever be okay or normal again. We have to find a new normal. We have to find a new way to live and grapple with what happens next now that the trial is over. For me, it means that I will honor Amy by approaching all of my cases with a new fervor. With every court appearance and every matter I handle, I will promote the fairness, goodness, and integrity that Amy stood for, no matter what side of the V I'm on. I know that for me, this is my way to keep Amy with me for always. The Lord family, Amy's extended family, and her many friends will remain strong and will keep Amy in our hearts. We'll follow the amazing and courageous example sent by Uncle Dennis and Auntie Cindy and continue to live our lives, not because it's easy or because Edwin Alemany has been held accountable, but because it is what Amy would have wanted. We know that in her gentle, caring way, she demands it of us, and in doing that, we'll never forget her.
Cindy Lord.
Good morning. I have thought for a long time on whether I wanted to do this, and if so, what I would say. I could sit here and try to talk about who Amy was, what she meant to us, and to everyone who knew and loved her so much, and what she is never going to be able to experience. But honestly, I could never find the words that could ever express what is truly in my heart. There are not words to describe what we lost and how our lives have forever changed. What I can do, however, is to try and put into words what the people who have been involved in this case have meant to us. There have been an unbelievable amount of people, some we talk to regularly, some who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, and the last few weeks, the jurors, who have supported and cared for us. To Jamie, Paul, Joe, Kat, Jeff, Zach, Catherine, and of course John, a special thank you. On July 23, 2013, detectives had to come to Amy's apartment and tell us she was gone. That day began a journey of trying to help and support my family while also trying to walk in Amy's shoes. These people had to try and unravel the horror of that day and face evil that we didn't know existed. From the very beginning, they treated Amy with respect and care. They never wavered in their commitment to protect her and to speak on her behalf. At the same time, they had to deal with scared, grieving, angry, and confused parents. And trust me, that is far from easy. They have been our rocks, and more importantly, Amy's heroes. They did everything they promised us from the beginning and more. To Alexandra and Kaylee, you are wonderful women who deserve and will have a wonderful, special life full of love and happiness. We will also carry both of you in our hearts right beside Amy for the rest of our lives. The reality is for us, there will never truly be closure. There will always be an unimaginable, unrelenting pain caused by a senseless act of violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, just preliminarily, I would, on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, like to thank Cindy and Dennis Lord. The death of their daughter, Amy Elizabeth Lord, was a tragic and senseless act. The circumstances, as the court has heard, were horrific. They conducted themselves, as did all the victims and their families in this case, with dignity and grace throughout the investigation and the entirety of these proceedings, Your Honor. The defendant, Edwin J. Alemany, Your Honor, represented by experienced and qualified counsel, received a fair, just, and equitable trial before a jury of his peers. The nature of the verdict, the jury's attention during the trial, both reflect that they carefully evaluated the evidence, determined the facts, and perhaps most importantly, Your Honor, applied the law as you gave it to them during the trial and during their deliberations. The Commonwealth's recommendation, which I'll state for the court in a moment, Your Honor, is founded not only upon the seriousness of all of these offenses, but also the more general concerns of the public, which, for want of a better word, the Commonwealth represents. A permanent period of incarceration, Your Honor, is required here not only for purposes of specific deterrence and rehabilitation of this defendant, it is also mandated as a general deterrent to others and, more importantly, as a means of expressing societal disapproval or punishment of this defendant for his criminal behavior. The background and personal history of Edwin J. Alemany will presumably be fully taken into consideration by this court. Equally telling, Your Honor, is the defendant's prior criminal record. The nature of his prior offenses and convictions is compelling, Your Honor. Numerous convictions for assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon and property crimes, including breaking and entering and receiving stolen property, all as an adult. And as a juvenile, Your Honor, he had multiple adjudications of delinquency for crimes including assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon and unarmed robbery. In assessing the defendant's personal background, character, and propensity for rehabilitation, the Commonwealth respectfully submits that the court should consider not only the extent of the defendant's prior juvenile and adult criminal record, but also the nature of these charges and the convictions returned by the jury. For these reasons, Your Honor, the Commonwealth respectfully submits that the court should adopt the following recommendation, which takes into account the three separate and distinct women, Alexandra Cruz, Kaylee Ballantyne, and lastly, Your Honor, Amy Elizabeth Lord, who were the victims of his blitz-style attacks on July 23rd and into the early morning hours of July 24th of 2013. Firstly, Your Honor, with respect to indictments 014 and 016, relative to indictment 014 charging attempted murder on Alexandra Cruz, Commonwealth's recommendation is for a sentence of 9 to 12 years in the state correctional system. With respect to offense 016, assault and battery, the Commonwealth recommends that that be placed on file after the jury's returning a guilty verdict. Secondly, Your Honor, with respect to offenses 018 and 019, relative to Kaylee Ballantyne, charging aggravated assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and armed assault with intent to murder. The Commonwealth's recommendation with respect to those two offenses, Your Honor, is 12 to 15 years in the Massachusetts Correctional Institution. Those two sentences to be served concurrently and to run consecutively from offense 014, Your Honor. Lastly, with respect to Amy Lord, offense 001, murder, I would ask that you impose the sentence mandated by statute, which is life without parole, Your Honor. Offense 002, aggravated kidnapping, Commonwealth's recommendation, life. Offense 003, armed carjacking, 19 to 20 years, Your Honor, in the Mass Correctional Institution. Offense 004, stealing by confining, Commonwealth's recommendation, life. Offense 005, armed robbery while masked, Commonwealth's recommendation, Your Honor, life. Offense 006, armed robbery while masked, Commonwealth's recommendation, life. Offense 007, armed robbery, Commonwealth's recommendation, Your Honor, life. Offense 008, armed robbery, Commonwealth's recommendation, life. And offense 009, Your Honor, armed robbery, Commonwealth's recommendation, again, life. With respect to offense 010, armed assault with intent to rob, the Commonwealth's recommendation, 19 to 20 years in the Mass Correctional Institution, Your Honor. With respect to offense 012, arson of a motor vehicle, 2 to 3 years in the Mass Correctional Institution. And with respect to offense 015, assault and battery, after the jury having returned a guilty verdict, that matter to be placed on file. With respect to those offenses, Your Honor, relative to Amy Lord that I've just outlined for the court, I would ask that all of those sentences run concurrently. However, those sentences to run consecutively from and after offenses 018 and 019 relative to Kaylee Ballantyne, which, as I've indicated, to run consecutively from offense 014, the 9 to 12 year recommendation relative to the attempted murder of Alexandra Cruz. Thank you, Your Honor.
Dennis, you wish to be heard, or your client wish to be heard?
Just very briefly, I certainly am not going to restate this case at this point, or what we feel about the psychopathology and impairment that the defendant had labored over for a good part of his life. I would simply suggest that in terms of the sentencing model, that given the depth of this impairment, whether obviously in the jury's eyes does not arise at the level of illegal lack of criminal responsibility, it certainly contributed to the offense conduct in his frame of mind, his frame of references, and has been greatly damaged and diminished for a very long period of time. I would suggest that sentences that are proposed by the Commonwealth are certainly not unfair, but I would ask that they be all concurrent rather than any consecutive.
Thank you, sir.
Defendant, please rise, sir. Jury, having returned verdicts of guilty as delineated yesterday, the court now shall impose sentence. Edwin J. Alemany is to offense 001, murder in the first degree. Sir, you hereby sentenced to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for and during the term of your natural life. With respect to offense 002, kidnapping, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution for a period of not more than 25 years, nor less than 20 years. That sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. As to offense 003, armed carjacking, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution for a period not to exceed 20 years, nor less than 15 years. That sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 004, stealing by confining, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 005, robbery while armed and masked, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, that to run concurrent with offense 001. As to offense 006, robbery while armed and masked, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, that offense to run concurrent, with the sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 007, robbery while armed, the court orders you committed to the Massachusetts Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, that sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 008, robbery while armed, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, that sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 009, robbery while armed, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a period not to exceed 60 years, nor less than 50 years, that sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 010, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a term not to exceed 20 years, nor less than 15 years, that sentence to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 012, arson of a motor vehicle, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a term not to exceed 3 years, nor less than 2 years, that offense to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 014, attempt to murder, the court orders you committed to the Mass Correctional Institution for a period not to exceed 15 years, nor less than 10 years. That sentence to run from and after offense 001. With respect to offense 015, assault and battery, the court orders that you be committed to the Suffolk County House of Correction for a period of 2 years. That sentence to run concurrent with offense 014. With respect to offense 016, assault and battery, the court orders you committed to the Suffolk County House of Correction for a period of 2 years, that offense to run concurrent with offense 001. With respect to offense 018, assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon causing serious bodily injury, the court orders you be committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a term not to exceed 15 years, nor less than 14 years, that to run from and after offense 001 and from and after offense 014. And with respect to offense 019, armed assault with intent to murder, the court orders that you be committed to the Mass Correctional Institution at Cedar Junction for a term not to exceed 20 years, nor less than 19 years, that to run from and after offense 018. The court orders that the minimum shall reflect jail credit in the amount of 685 days on offense 001, and the court imposes a $90 victim witness fund assessment. Sir, you stand committed.
Before we leave, let me just ask counsel for a status date regarding the untried indictments.
Do we
The unresolved matters set down for 319.
Status. Once again, sir, you stand committed.
All rise, please. Four. Court stands at a recess.
Very strong. She is. She is. Gentlemen, put together one.
Folks, if you're not able to have a seat, you're gonna have to wait outside.
We do. No, it's just trying to get my stuff ready.
Jury's on the way down. Jury entering. Court. Will the deliberating jurors and the defendant remain standing? All others, please be seated.
Members of the jury, have you agreed upon your verdicts?
Yes. Yes.
May I have the verdict slip, please? What say you, Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 001, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with murder in the first degree? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty of murder in the first degree as charged?
Guilty.
Under what theory?
All of them.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oath to say the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 001, charging him with murder in the first degree, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 002, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with kidnapping? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to the verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oath to say the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 002, charging him with kidnapping, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 003, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with armed carjacking? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to the verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oath to say the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 003, charging with armed carjacking, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 004, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with stealing by confining? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oaths to say the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 004, charging him with stealing by confining, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 005, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with robbery while armed and masked? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oath to say that the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 005, charging him with robbery while armed and masked, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 006, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with robbery while armed and masked? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oaths to say that the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 006, charging him with robbery while armed and masked, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 007, charging the defendant Edwin Alemany with robbery while armed? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you upon your oath to say the defendant Edwin Alemany on indictment 2013-11163, offense 007, charging him with robbery while armed, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 008, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with robbery while armed? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oath, to say the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 008, charging him with robbery while armed, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 009, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with robbery while armed? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it. You, upon your oath, to say that the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 009, charging him with robbery while armed, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 010, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with armed assault to rob? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it. And you, upon your oath, to say that the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 010, charging him with armed assault to rob, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes. Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 011, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with assault to rape? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Not guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to the verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oath, to say the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 011, charging him with assault to rape, is not guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes. Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 012, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with arson of a motor vehicle? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oath, to say the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 012, charging him with arson of a motor vehicle, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 014, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with attempt to murder? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oaths, to say that the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 014, charging him with attempt to murder, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 015, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with assault and battery? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oaths, to say that the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 015, charging him with assault and battery, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 016, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with assault and battery? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oaths, to say the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 016, charging with assault and battery, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 018, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon, causing serious bodily injury? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury, hearken to this verdict as the court has recorded it, and you, upon your oath, to say the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 018, charging him with assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon causing serious bodily injury, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury.
Yes.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, to indictment 2013-11163, offense 019, charging the defendant, Edwin Alemany, with armed assault with intent to murder? Is he not guilty by reason of insanity, or guilty?
Guilty.
Members of the jury hearken to this verdict as the court has reported it, and you upon your oaths do say that the defendant, Edwin Alemany, on indictment 2013-11163, offense 019, charging him with armed assault with intent to murder, is guilty. So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
Your Honor, may the verdict slips be filed. Madam Foreperson, as to your verdict with respect to offense 001, will you please specify the theories upon which the jury returned its verdict of guilty on murder in the first degree?
Sure. Theory of deliberate premeditation, theory of extreme atrocity or cruelty, theory of felony murder, stealing by confining, theory of felony murder, robbery, armed and masked, theory of felony murder, robbery, armed and masked, theory of felony murder, robbery, armed, theory of felony murder, robbery, armed, theory of felony murder, robbery, armed.
So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
Once again, Your Honor, may the verdict slips now be filed.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. That concludes your service with us here, as well as our alternates, who I also thank. What I'm going to ask you to do is to return to the jury room for just a moment. What I'm going to do is have an opportunity to thank you in person for your service, as well as our alternates to the Commonwealth in this case. I cannot and will not discuss the content of your deliberations with you. That's personal to you folks as a group. What I will do is thank you for your service on this case.
All rise. Jurors, please step down. Court still in session, please be seated.
Your Honor, on the issue of sentencing, respectfully, I have had the opportunity to speak with the family and the victims involved. I would ask that sentencing be put over until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m.
I
didn't hear much of that, Your Honor. I'm assuming that the Commonwealth was asking for the sentence to be put over till tomorrow. I have no objection to it.
Sentence at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court. Defendant's bail is revoked. He is held without bail till the hour of 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, at which time sentence hearing will be conducted on sentencing.
So 013, I think it was 017, maybe 012. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They should already handle it.
Yeah, I figured as much.
But sometimes they have to know what they
The court officer's asking for this. so I can ask the clerk to secure that. Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. You're gonna pick up, all right? Okay. Richie, well, this way.
Ed, you don't want to go from here?